Hey everyone, it's Acoustic Stevo, the Human Patriot, coming to you from the universe. And today I'm going to do a weekly reading. It's one day off. I should have done this on Monday, but I tried to get some readings out and didn't quite work out for me yesterday. So, I'm pretty persistent, so I'm going to try again. So, the one thing about it is when I was trying to do it yesterday, the moon was right at the end of Capricorn, so it's into Aquarius now. So this is kind of a social media thing, so maybe it just wasn't meant to be yesterday. So that being said, what I'm doing right now is I'm going to start with Aries this time for these weekly readings. I'm going to try to do one card of weekly readings and make them pretty quick and one-off so the video doesn't get too long. So I'm going to be reading 12 cards, one off. And I studied the astrology, so I'm going to kind of do an intuitive reading, pulling on astrology for each sign, and using the card as just a further exploration of what I already know about the astrology. Just to do some straight up astrological tarot intuitive readings for the remainder of the week for each sign. So we're going to start with Aries. Got them good and shuffled. Alright, Aries. Aries, Aries, Aries. Oh. Aries, Aries, Aries. Oh. Aries, Aries, Aries. Here we go. Oh, that's Aries right there. Alright, Aries. We've got the Five of Swords. I'm going to show you these cards. So that's the Five of Swords. And, I haven't read tarot for a long time. We're talking like maybe a decade that I read it a little bit, but like actively reading it, where I've spent a lot of time with it, probably for over a decade, maybe about a decade, something like that. So I'm refamiliarizing myself with the meanings of these cards. I have a still pretty good sense of it because of how in depth I went into my study. But the thing about it is, this is the White Sage Tarot deck, and I've never used this deck before. And I picked it for a reason, because it's thought-based, which means it has, like, Egyptian symbolism, and it's also has some animal stuff in it that really kind of spoke to me on an intuitive level. So that's why I picked this deck. But that being said, I'm going to read the meanings straight from the books, and then give my little bit of interpretation beyond that from the knowledge that I've studied over the years. So we're going to, for you Aries, this week's energy is the Five of Swords upright. So let's look in to see what that is. Five of Swords upright. I'll tell you, I believe that is, swords are always mental. And the Five of Swords is kind of like a mental, I think it's defeat, but that could be the Five of Wands. So it's been a while since I've studied tarot, so I'm just going to go ahead and cheat a little. So here it says, the Five of Swords upright is tension and hostility. It says, you are likely to find yourself with some mixed feelings about life in general, and about a few people in particular. It is good to voice your opinions, but pick your battles. The yellow ribbon is being shredded as we speak. Alright, and so this also has some chakra stuff in. I'm going to leave that out for now because I need to do some more study on chakras. It's never really been esoteric wisdom that I've really delved all the way into. I've just kind of looked at it in a cursory way, so I don't have the in-depth knowledge that I would feel comfortable talking about that. So I'm just going to leave that part out for now. But I am going to look into it because it is a part of this deck, and it's really kind of a cool thing, and it's something I want to learn about, as well as, how it responds to, the chakras respond to Kabbalah. I want to study Kabbalah a little bit here, so I'm going to be doing that. So Five of Swords, you can see that there's one sword off to the side, and those ribbons are cut, and there's four other swords. So what this symbolizes is kind of an opposition energy, where, you're kind of off to your own in what you're trying to do. That's where that hostility vibration comes from, because you have other people that got different ideas for how they think things should be going down. Well, this is saying if you express yours too much, like you pull out your sword and you put it out there, all that's going to happen is a bunch of shredding of ribbons. There's not going to be a lot of anything accomplished. So what it means is, you know, that will, that one sword off to itself is still important. You need to have that, but don't invest too much energy into trying to get other people to go along with what you want to do, because they're just not going to do it. So it's kind of like wasting your time type of thing. Wasting your words, wasting your energy. Why waste your energy on somebody who's not willing to appreciate what you're putting out there? So I would say this week maybe just kind of wait. You know, so if there's some things that you're trying to do and you're getting conflict and hostility, maybe that's just the energy you have to go through, because it will turn into something else later. That's how things kind of work, you know. They have different stages of how they unfold, and so that's just the stage of the energy that you'd be in this week, Aries. And thinking about your astrology, I'm just trying to that would put this Virgo stellium in the 6th house, because there's a stellium in Virgo right now, and that would put the moon in Aquarius, which is in your 11th house. So that means you have some activity going on in your 6th and your 11th house if you're Aries rising, or, you know, even sun signs and moon signs. It's where this energy could be coming from. So it's definitely kind of like, I'm getting the vibe that it's a workplace situation, where the hostility is taking place because of that stellium. And I know that there's a square to that stellium in Sagittarius, so it could be, and that's Jupiter. It could be that other people's philosophies and wisdoms that they feel strongly about are kind of coming into conflict with what you know, what you've already figured out, and they're just not seeing it. So I would say there's not much you can do about that. They're not going to listen. So the best thing you might be able to do, because there's also this oppositional energy in Neptune, is opposed to this stellium right now because it's in Pisces. So what that means is you might be able to just kind of let the universe take care of it. So by not expressing your wisdom out there to be shredded apart like those ribbons, just let the universe kind of have your back. Because Neptune, when it's in opposition to the workplace, that means that it has the missing piece, because it's the opposite of all that energy that's going on in that stellium. And the missing piece is over here. And a lot of time when the piece is missing, the universe uses those oppositional energies as kind of like a gun, a straight line of shooting into the situation. So I would kind of just let the universe kind of have time to heal and figure all this out, because Neptune and Pisces is a very healing energy. So it's not like a dire situation anyways, where like if people don't hear you right now, it's going to be a problem. So I'm going to move on now though. So that's my message for you this week, Aries. But I do need to move on to make this not take forever. All right, so we're going to go into Taurus. And when I do these readings, it's mostly for the rising signs and the sun signs. But it also can have, if you have stelliums in the sign, a stellium is when you have a bunch of planets in a sign, I'd say 4 or more, including an ascendant or something like a major point like that, I would consider an energy that you could add to whether or not you have a stellium. You also could be experiencing a lot of this stuff, as well as your moon, especially if you're born at night. Your moon is going to be a little bit more important. So, that being said, let's do Taurus. Alright, so where is Taurus? Oh, there Taurus is. There it is, Taurus. Here we go. We got the Queen of Cups reversed. Alright, so I'm going to in keeping with how I'm doing this, I'm going to go ahead and read straight from the book first, then I'll give you my little insight here. So we got to go to the Queen of Cups. And in reverse, it says martyr, compassionate. See, it kind of gives you two little words, and then it kind of expounds upon there. The Queen of Cups in reverse is still compassionate, but she can become a martyr when out of balance. So what this is saying is, a lot of times the court cards, which are the you know, the knights, the kings, the queens, and I believe in this deck it might be pages. Not 100% sure. Let me check real quick. Come on, they're not making this easy here. I know it's gotta be in here somewhere. Golly, those cards are. Oh, yep, it's the pages. So those sometimes signify people. So what this is saying is, this may represent you if you're a woman and your emotions, Taurus. It may mean that you're inclined to some martyrdom right now with going too dark and deep into a negative space for you and what you need, basically ignoring your needs and giving too much, either usually emotionally with cups. Or it could be, if you're a man or another woman even, it could be someone in your life that is doing this type of activity that's going to be important this week, as far as what's going on in your week and the energy of the week. So what that means is you want to be on the lookout for that. If it's somebody else, if they're interacting with you, they could be trying to put guilt trips on you. They could be not talking. They're kind of closing in. Or if it's you, this is kind of maybe what you're doing. And what it does is it keeps the energy from actually being expressed and being able to be healed, because instead of letting the emotions out, they're being kept on the inside, and that's where the martyrdom thing comes from. So that's my little tidbit on that, is keep an eye out for that. And you can, by seeing it, you can kind of, even if you have to go in that energy or experience that energy, you could kind of be aware of it and maybe make it a lesser type energy, or maybe you know, use it as a healing situation where you understand what's going on and you start to go the other direction, because you definitely would want to go the other direction with that energy. So Taurus, for you, this stellium is going to be in your 5th house. So what that means, there's a lot of energy right now in Virgo, and so it might be for you, there's like a work fun type situation going on. So maybe a coworker might be the person that you come across, this Queen of Cups reversed. Or if it's you, maybe you're dealing with a coworker and they're the one that you're having to that you've been sacrificing and martyr for, and you maybe need to address that situation and stop doing it. So that's what I would say for that, Taurus. So we're going to move on now. We're going to go into Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Whoa, Gemini. Gemini. Alright, Gemini. Let's see. Where are you? Where are you, Gemini? Well, okay. Okay, there you are. Alright, Gemini. Let's see what's going on this week, Gemini. Gemini rising sun, stellium, and moon. We got the 5 of Cups. 5 of Cups. I think this is disappointment, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure about that. It's upright, 5 of Cups. I'll show you that again. And what you could see is you got these 4 cups stacked upside down on this cracked 5th cup. And you see this ribbon is kind of a part, this yellow ribbon is kind of a part of that symbolism. And you have that piece down there underneath the ribbon. So it's kind of separate. There's like a little piece missing. So I'm getting used to the symbolism of this deck. So I'm going to see what that might intuitively tell me here. But we're going to read the meaning of the 5 of Cups upright. So we got upright, loss and grief. That's why I said disappointment. That kind of fits in there. You may feel a sense of loss or even grieving. Remember, change is a part of life. and every yin has a yang. Clinging too tightly can cause suffering. No use crying over spilled milk. So that's where that disappointment energy comes from. Like when things don't go your way, you're going to be disappointed, but you don't want to stay in that energy. You have to realize that sometimes the universe, it just doesn't unfold the way that you're expecting, or the way that you want it to. And instead of, dwelling on that there, Gemini, you're an air sign, and you're changeable. So it's, for you, your emotions are usually something that you can overcome quite easily. So what I'm getting from this is that this may have a little bit to do more, because this stellium in Virgo for you is in the 4th house. This may have something more to do with like a home situation. Because the 4th house is a water house, and I just read you a water card, and it's disappointment. So there's a lot of energy there right now, and it has to do with work and healing. So maybe somebody's even sick in your household, something like that. I would say, with Jupiter being in Sagittarius, for you, that puts that energy in, it puts it in, let's see, Libra, blah, 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 Scorpio, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I thought so. It puts it in your partnership relation house. So maybe your partner is, and you are just, you're disappointed about something with your partner. Maybe they're not acting right. Maybe you thought something was going to be one way and now it's another. So, that card speaks to not crying over spilled milk. So maybe the situation is disappointing, but you might want to just move on, because that partnership, it's important for everybody, for people that are inclined to have partners, in crime, to go ahead and deal with the difficult situations as well as the good situations, So you could just be going through a difficult one this week. Just acknowledge that. There's still lots of great stuff happening out in the universe. So kind of focus on that stuff, the other good, better things in your life, and there is some other energy out there, where possibly, that it's less confrontational, it's more like balanced and helpful, and that is it's around right now transformative rules and restrictions. So it's possible that you can acknowledge this disappointment situation with your partner, if that's what's going on, and come up with some boundaries that you both can agree on, and see that they're, so that way you can use this opportunity to move forward, so you're not continuously disappointed, and the universe is kind of like healing with that energy right now, in very transformative ways. So it might be something that just needed to happen so that transformation can fully occur. All right, so Cancer. Oh, Cancer, stinking, freaking, stinking Cancer. Oh, stinking, yeah, it's so stinking. I can mess with Cancer because I've got some Cancer stuff in my, so I don't feel bad about it, because I'm dogging on myself just as much as you, Cancer, when I sing those fun little ditties. But Cancer, well, you got some complicated energy this week. It doesn't want me to stop. It says keep going, keep going. Wow. All right, Cancer. Here we go. We got the Two of Cups. Oh, the universe wants you to hear this one, Cancer. Two of Cups is love. It's like romantic love. It's like really connecting with someone, See how those waters are intertwined from the two different cups? They're becoming one. And they're fluid, and they just wrap around each other like a braid, They're braiding into each other. It's very sexual as well. I would say, Cancer, this would be a good week for just experiencing love for you. And when I think about, I'm going to read what the thing says, but I just really gave you my input on the Two of Cups because that's one of my favorite cards, so I definitely know that one well. It says, upright, bond union, Two of Cups pour together and unite, just as true love melds two hearts. You may feel a deep love connection with another. Practice the art of finding a balance through some give and take. So this week, you know, that love's there, but, you know, experiment around with it, with some give and take, like make it a little deeper, a little bit more of a connection. And, you know, when I think about that stellium and where it is for you, Cancer, it is gonna be in your third house there. So what that means, it's about communication. So, and it's Virgo, and it's just really a lot of energy. So there's a lot of ways to kind of perfect this love and just really live in a great week with love, where you just kind of, you know, often people don't get to experience the perfection of love, because love, it really comes in so many different forms and different seasons and different types. And this one for you right now is just really balanced and beautiful. So just have a great week with that. I'll just leave it at that for you, Cancer. All right, so we're going into Leo. Whoa, oh, 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 Leo, the lion, lion-hearted Leo. The Leo, sun, the sunny Leo. Yeah. All right, Leo. We got the moon, all right? Now, I'm going to read from the thing on this one, but because the moon means a lot to me. You know, the cards are called the major arcana, that aren't the cups, the wands, the swords, you know, or what, the pentacles. They're the other cards. They are they're called the major arcana. So I've really done a lot of study on them, but I'm curious to see what this book says about the moon. So let's go ahead and read it. All right, it says, upright, psychic, intuitive, feminine. And it says, Khonsu, the god, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Khonsu, the god of the moon and time, was also revered as a god of healing. The moon is balanced and mysterious. Don't be afraid of the dark. Yin energy can draw out your creative spirit. Pay special attention to your dreams. The moon card can indicate it's a good time to do some shadow work. You know, I kind of like the way that ended with the shadow work part. And what shadow work is, I'm going to explain this because it's very important, and it's going to be very important on my 12th house astrology channel, is that shadow work is where you deal with your darkness, and you deal with the darkness of others as well. Like, you acknowledge it, and you see it, and you spend time focused on it to the point where you transform it and you rise above it, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's really epitomized actually by this sign of Scorpio, which is symbolically represented by the phoenix. Shadow work, I definitely would say, is a Scorpio thing. So what this is telling me for you, Leo, is you need to spend some time looking at the darkness and thinking about what it means and how it's influencing your life. And this stellium for you is in the second house, so you may be struggling financially, or there may be, you know, that you just have like maybe some antsy energy around your finances, where it's just like it's something that you're just not really able to get like a focused mind on, and you're kind of don't even want to think about it. You want to leave it in the dark. Well, this moon card is saying you need to look at it. You need to take the time to look at your finances and your situation and really just look at it for what it is. Maybe not even try to plan anything this week, but just spend some time actually looking at it and trying to understand it. And that's my insight for you there, Leo. All right. So now we're going into Virgo, and it's Virgo season, so this is extra special for you. That stellium is right in your first house, so it's right in your face there, Virgo. And that stellium, it consists of Mercury, Venus, Mars, and the Sun. So, for you Virgos out there, and Virgo ascendants, Virgo moon, Virgo stellium people, this energy is going to be really, really significant for you, Virgo. And let's see what it says for this week. Oh, another major arcana card, the Empress. I think that is so cool, you know, the animal symbolism in this deck. And, you know, the fact that because I got the Emperor card here on my last reading session that I did a couple times, but I didn't get the Empress. And the Emperor was a walrus. The Empress is a seal. And it's kind of cool, the masculine and feminine quality of just the animals in general. Walruses and seals, you know. That might be a sea lion. But, you know, she's got this necklace on, this Ankh necklace, too. And she's on the land, but she's right in front of the water, and she's looking up at the moon, all right? So she's very down to earth, but she's connected outside of the earth as well. And it's almost like she's a channel for the subconscious. Like her face is directly pointed at the moon. So it's like a direct insight comes to her for actually manifesting. And that's a big part of what Empress energy is. So for you, Virgo, with this stellium, that means your manifestation power is off the chart right now. So take advantage of it, because you need to. You really do. I mean, it's a blessing of the universe. Definitely let's see what the Empress says in here, but definitely make use of that energy. So what we got, it says, strong feminine energy, emotional balance. It says the Empress taps into the subtle yet strong power of the divine feminine. Connected to both earth and water elements, the Empress is at home anywhere she can express herself. The image is based on a sea lion, so there it just told us, that lives in La Jolla, California. So, for me, what this is saying is you're kind of coming into your own, and you really have a lot of power right now in this Virgo season, and especially right now when this stellium is going on this week. And I mean, you got a couple planets leaving at the end, but they're going into Libra, and that's going to put them in your second house, which is still very powerful energy, still being so close to, you know, the other two that are still going to be in the first house with Mars and the Sun. So what you're going to have a lot of energy this whole week for, you know, the number 3, which is what the Empress is based on, is the number of creativity. It's like everything that we see, like even 3D reality, you know, it's what can be manifest out of the universe, like that we can experience, and that's the Empress energy. So you have a lot of manifestation power right now, creativity. So get to work, because that's what Virgos do. They work, right? So utilize the energy of having all this stuff backing you up, and just get to work, Virgo, this week. That's my suggestion. All right.